Hi, I'm Jennifer with MT Business Technologies, and I'm going to show you how to use your new Prime Link black and white copier. When you have a swipe card or your ID card, what you're going to do is simply tap it on the icon here, and that will log you into the device. But if you don't have your card, there is a keyboard in the bottom right corner here where you can manually log in. So we're going to do that today. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my number with the numbers here. And then you're going to press enter. And then you're going to, it's asking me for a PIN, and press enter again. And that then logs you into the device. At this point, you're going to select access device. So this is going to be our main home screen that we're going to be working from on this unit. So the first icon here is the print release. So if you have sent a print job from your computer and you're ready to print that out, after you've logged in, you're going to go to print release. It will show your print jobs here listed on the screen, and you can either select them and select print, or at the bottom here beside that there is a trash can to delete a job as well. So that is the print release screen. To get back to the home screen, I go to access device, and it takes us back to our main screen. So that is going into the print release to release those print jobs that you're sending. The other options that we have here on the screen are going to be your copy screens. So if I want to copy, I'm going to select the copy icon, and this is the main screen that comes up. So we're going to work our way from the left to the right. So the first column here, we do have reduce and enlarge. So there's just a few percentages here, but if I go to more underneath that, I can select that. And it gives me a few more options here where I can either choose the preset, or I can go up and down in 1% increments to get it to a little bit more specific on that reduce and enlarge. And then you pick save. So again, that's just by using the icons here, going into more, and picking your percentage. Beside that is going to be the paper supply. So this shows all of our paper trays on the device. The bypass tray does not necessarily say bypass. That is always going to be tray 5 is the bypass tray. So if you do need to use the bypass tray and you're using, let's say, labels or cardstock out of that tray, we're going to load the paper in the tray, and you're going to get a pop-up. Now this shows the size, the type, and the color. So if I'm going to use labels or cardstock, I want to make sure that's set on 8.5 by 11. So I would go to change settings, and this is where I'm going to go in and select my paper size. It does default to plain paper, so if you are going to use a different media type, this is where you can scroll through and choose labels. Heavyweight 1 and heavyweight 2 is what you're going to use for cardstock. So this goes by the grams. On the outside of the package it will show the grams, but heavyweight 1 is normally what you can use for your cardstock. But otherwise it does default to plain, and I would simply pick save when I have my settings selected. After that, I'll select confirm to confirm those settings. So once again, you won't necessarily see that screen until you actually load the paper in that bypass tray. At this point, if I want to copy from that tray, I would pick tray 5, and it would copy my labels or cardstock from that tray. Otherwise, this does default to auto select, and you should not have to choose a tray. Two-sided copying is underneath that, and that's pretty straightforward. The first one is going to be 1 to 2-sided. That's where you have single-sided sheets and you want them front and back. The second one is going to be 2-sided to 2-sided, where you have 2-sided originals and you want 2-sided copies. And the third one is going to be 2-sided to 1-sided, where your originals are 2-sided and it reverts them to two single-sided copies. So it takes two-sided originals to single-sided copies. So that's all going to be under the two-sided copying column. Now, in the upper right-hand corner is copy output, and that says collated. So all of the Xerox copiers that you have automatically collate. So if I put in a quantity, let's say of 25, and it's defaulting to collate, it's automatically going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it automatically collates or sorts your documents for you. Now, if I also go into copy output, this is where I can find my additional features for staple and 3-hole punch. So down this column are your different positions for stapling. So that's going to show you a little icon. It's going to staple it in the upper left corner, 2 staples along the left, and then this is going to be 2 staples along the top. Underneath, it just puts it on the right side of the page. So what you're going to be using the most is probably the 1 to 2 staples for stapling. In the second column here, we have our hole punch. So 3-hole punch, your standard 3-hole punch is going to be here towards the bottom where it does 3 on the left. You do also have the options above that for 2-hole punch if you have a need for that. So that's going to be in the hole punch column. And then the third column over here, if for some reason you don't want your sets collated, you can choose uncollated. That will just group those together, but otherwise it always defaults to collate. So once again, how I got to this screen is by choosing copy output. So you won't see your staple and hole punch on this main screen here. You're going to go to copy output to select those features and then pick save. And then at the bottom, you do have lightening and darkening if you have a need for that. So these are going to be your main copy features on this screen. The image quality is where you can go into the original type and tell it if it's a photo, text photo. You can adjust that accordingly. And then this is also where you can lighten and darken your originals if you have a need for that. The other tabs at the top are more your advanced features if you get into any of those. But right now we're just going to cover the copy and image quality options. If you do need to reset something that you've already selected, maybe I want to revert this back to no staple, I can just go down to this yellow clear all button, and that resets those options, but it still leaves you logged in. So that's by choosing clear all will allow you to clear out those settings if you have a need for that. Otherwise, if I want to get back to the main screen and go on to my other features, I'm going to pick Services Home to get back to that main screen. So that's the Services Home button. The email icon is going to be your scan to email. So if I want to scan something, I'm going to pick email. Over to the left, I'm going to select the address book. When I get to this screen, there's going to be a drop down, and I'm going to select Search Network. So Search Network, and it's going to come up with the keypad. So at this point, I can start typing a name that I want to scan to. So if I just type in Kelly, and I go to the top here where this little magnifying glass is, I'm going to select that blue icon, and it pulls up anyone in your network by the name of Kelly. So I can select this person. Once I select who I want to carry that over to the To field, and I'm going to pick Close. At this point, if I just want to scan, I'm going to go ahead and put my originals in the document feeder, and I would press Start. If I want to scan that document to another person, I can go back to my address book. I can go to Search Network. I can delete that, and I can type in another name. If I want to scan that document to someone else, I type that. I go to the search key, and it pulls up anyone by the name Tammy. And again, I carry that over to the To. I can close that, and it allows me to scan to multiple people at the same time. The icons along the bottom, it does default to auto detect for color scanning. So even though these are black and white copiers, it will scan in color. However, if you do want it to be black and white for scanning, you can make that adjustment accordingly. Beside that, if you want to scan two-sided, your originals are front and back, you can go here and pick two-sided. And then here under original type is where you can tell it if it's a photo, text photo, and so forth. The subject and the message, the subject line does default to say scan from Prime Link. However, if I want to type in my own subject line, I can delete text, type in my own subject, and press save, and it'll allow me to send it with that subject line. Same thing with the message field. You can retype that for your own message. Once you've made your selections, you're just going to select the start key, and it will scan your documents. Once again, if I select any settings and I need to start over and I want to stay in the scan screen, I can just do clear all. It clears out my settings and I can start over if I would have a need for that. But otherwise, if I want to get back to that main screen, I'm going to pick Services Home to get back to the main screen to go on to my other features. The job status is just basically, it shows your copy jobs, print jobs. If you do need to delete a job, you can do it from this icon here, but otherwise it just allows you to monitor your print jobs and copy jobs if you would have a need for that. If you are done, it will automatically log you out after 60 seconds, but otherwise you can either swipe your card once again to automatically log out at that point, or in the upper right hand corner where it shows my name, I can go here and I can pick log out to log out of the device if I have a need for that.